You know, the thing about turtlenecks is that, like, sometimes it covers your double chin and then sometimes it just pushes it up closer to your regular chin, and it's like, was this helpful? Hey Hodies, welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today I'm going to be going through my testing drawer. There are some things that I'm ready to depart with. This is very akin to, if you're familiar with Hannah Louise Poston's channel, A Reckoning. So things that were bought by me, sent to me in PR, sent to me by friend mail, that I have made my decision on whether or not I'm going to keep them. If you are new to my channel is about loving my makeup collection currently as it is, first and foremost, while being discerning about what I invite into my makeup collection. And the testing drawer is like the first step of my trial process, where I have it, but I don't consider it like mine. Like, I don't consider that I own it. It's not like part of my makeup collection until it's made it through this process. And like what I like to do on my channel for myself and hopefully for you is to help build the habit of not pulling the trigger so quickly on new makeup when a lot of us, I'm not saying that every single one of us, have a lot of makeup to choose from, and perhaps what we already have is going to be able to satiate what we think we're going to get out of that new thing. So if that sounds good to you, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. I'm on patreon.com if you'd like to support me there. It's patreon.com/hautemesstom. Over there you can find my podcast with my friend Kackie of Kackie Reviews Beauty. I do additional content that's just solo myself as well. There's at least one video that I post over there. I talk about behind the scenes, like what's going on with me and like how my YouTube channel is like actually doing, which is, if that sounds interesting to you, you're welcome to go. Patreon is not something that you need to do. It's just there if you would like to take your support to that level. But liking and commenting and sharing my content are all excellent ways to support me. Just being a Patreon member doesn't make you like better fan of me. But anyway, thank you to all my current patrons. I really appreciate your support. You guys make reviews and things like this happen, so I really appreciate it. I also have a podcast with my friend Tiffany. You can check that out down below. It's a music podcast. It's called Recollect. It's on Spotify only because we actually use the music in the podcast. So if you want to check that out, you can go check that out. While you're watching this, I'm away. Like I'm on vacation. So I'm filming this like it's the 7th. You're probably seeing this on Thursday the 19th, if I'm doing my math right, or Sunday, whatever the Sunday is. Anyway, I'm going to see Jessie Ware. I'm in Philadelphia right now, so I'm having a good time, you know, really living up vacation, but also still want content to come out. I have things that I haven't even shown on the channel yet. You may have seen them already, but as I'm filming this, these have not appeared on my channel quite yet. Some things from Andromeda, they sent me a couple of things, and like this will be your first time seeing them, but I have used a couple of them already off camera or for like filming for videos where I was just going to be like a talking head. And I've already decided how I feel about them, but let's just go through. I'm going to just open the drawer. We're going to go through it. I need to remember that I have coffee here and to drink it. I always have a little bevy sitting beside me and I always forget to drink it. But maybe with a turtleneck, maybe when I start sweating, that'll be whenever I do it. Although the turtleneck is a farce. It was this dress from Fashion Nova and I just didn't like the way it sat on me. So I was like, crop it. And I like wanted a little bit of like under boob. So that's what I did. Is it cut really shittily? Yes. Does that matter to me? No. The Gucci bronzer, I'm keeping it. I keep it. I love it. So here's why. I have a lot of bronzers right now, and in my declutter at the end of the year, like my end of the year declutter, I think I'm not gonna try to be like incredibly ruthless, but I do definitely want to get rid of some bronzers, especially the ones that I'm just less interested in using. But what I have noticed since I've gotten this, it's the only bronzer I've used. It's the only bronzer that I have chosen to use, and that means something. If I'm not thinking about my other bronzers or overlooking them or choosing to want to use them over something that I'm currently testing, I think that's a really good sign that it's something that I'm interested in keeping around. Like my time with this, I want more time with it. But like what I love about it is it does a little bit blurring. It's the bronzer I have on my face today because again, I keep reaching for it. Like I like interacting with the packaging. I don't like the smell of it. The smell has turned me off a little bit sometimes when I open it. It's just like sometimes it doesn't bother me and then other times it very much bothers me. Today I'm feeling like a little bit in between, but I think it like really blurs the skin. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love the blur. Bring on the blur. This provides the blur. And I'm thankful for it. So it's just, it deserves to stick around. This is something that I'm going to be continue testing because I've only used it a handful of times, but I think I like it, but I don't think I'm going to ultimately keep it overall, but I would like to be able to speak on it a little bit more than I could at this time. And it is the e.l.f. Halo Glow liquid filter. So this is the dupe of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. This is a dupe of the Auric Glow. Like, you know, it's like one of those products. The thing about it is it's so big. It's so big. Now, whenever I tried the Charlotte Tilbury, I had a mini of it and that felt much less intimidating, but this is like tall and thin, and then it's just a little, it's just, the sounds it makes are just a little bit horny, you know? It's just like, I don't know. It's just like it's just like, it makes a lot of noises. However, and I think this is the new lightest shade. Like this is the, like the new launch shade 0. It's still pretty yellow. When I blend it out, it doesn't seem to be a problem. So far, I've used it as a primer. I have it underneath all of my makeup today, but I like a lot of glowy stuff on today, and that's like not uncommon for me, but like more glowy stuff than I like usually use, because I sometimes try to balance like the matte and the glow, but like I'm pretty glowy today. And I think like you can see the glow through here, like on the top of my face. But I also used a powder today that has a little bit of a glow to it. So I want to keep playing with this. My impressions on it so far are that it's been a year since I've used the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. I've decluttered it, I gave it to a friend. But like this feels a little bit thick to me, which isn't a problem because I think the Auric Glow Lust is also thicker than the Charlotte Tilbury. So this might ultimately like be better, but I do feel like it's like shinier. Well, that's not bad, like per se. Like if you're looking for something shinier than that, then great. But I think it might be like too much. Like I think we might have like you know me, not afraid of a glow, but I think it could be a little bit too far. But again, I still feel like I don't know it quite yet, so I would like to keep it in the testing drawer. I need to like make 3 piles here. I'm decluttering this. I just got this from Andromeda. This is from Kimchi Chic Beauty. It is their almost catfished translucent powder. If you have dexterity issues in your hands, don't buy this. Don't buy this. So if you look here, it's like a little bit of an indent right here, and then there's only like one thing to hold on to. Now, I definitely have nails on, but I find this like incredibly hard to open, and I'm not like dramatizing. Like, this is how I would want to open a compact. Like, I feel like it should open like this. There's just nothing to really get a grip on, and then when you get it open, it's too mattifying for me. And I definitely can appreciate a matte powder, like a powder that mattifies. It's so matte. It reminded me, I did use it once, and it reminded me of like like it looked like just swiping it on, like what my skin used to look like when I would bake. Crepey, just like too much. It was just like super dry. I did not care for it. And also this powder, for me to want to use this and like how hard it is to open, it would have to be the best powder ever in there, like for it to be worth my time trying to get into it. Very akin to the Westman Atelier powder, not the powders themselves, but like that powder would have to be the best powder ever for me to want to work my way in. And neither this nor the Westman Atelier are powders that I'm so interested in working my ass off to get into it to use it. So it's a no for me. This is something that I used today, and I still don't really know how I feel about it. So it's the Real Flawless Luminous Perfecting Pressed Powder in Translucent from Laura Mercier. It's this guy right here. And this is like, it's like this baked powder, and I used it today, and that's why I'm like there's a lot of glowy things on my face, but I ultimately like think my skin looks pretty good. The first time I tried this was with the Glossier foundation. Now that I'm saying that, I should pull that because that's something I need to talk about. And I don't think the Glossier foundation like loves a lot of powder. And I think that this powder is a little bit heavy, like a little bit heavy. Like not like, I don't think it's like the worst, right? It's just, it's like, it has a little bit more of presence on my skin than some other powders. I found today, because this is like only the second or third time I've used it, when I used it on the Dewdrop foundation, which is like my favorite foundation, I know how it behaves with stuff on it. I think it looks a lot better. I don't know that it still is the perfect powder for me. I haven't tried it like this yet, but I think a good way for me to use it is if I was using a lot of matte and a lot of powders, if I powdered this area of my face, the parts of my face where I like to keep it glowy with this instead of like a matte powder, and then I put those matte products on top, I would still get that glow on my cheeks that I want. So like I still have hope for this. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's ultimately like kind of like the e.l.f. Halo Glow. It's like, I know that the e.l.f. Halo Glow is not going to take over any of my other liquid illuminators. I still don't feel like I know it. And I feel like the Laura Mercier powder has something to it, and I'm gonna figure out how to use it. And perhaps when I figure out how to use it and like its best practices, I might be able to give that to you, and it might be very useful information to you. Whether or not it's useful information to me is a whole other thing. I just spoke of this. This is the Glossier Stretch Foundation. I like it. I don't love it. So I found this to be very particular. At least, as I said earlier, I don't think it likes powders, and I feel like, well, I don't use the most powder. I feel like it just didn't like powder. So if you are someone who has like really dry skin and you don't like to powder, this might be a really great option for you. Like I've said in the past couple times I've talked about it on my channel, I don't think that it's like it's not like a revolutionary foundation. It's like medium light coverage foundation that just like, that's what it does. It's just like medium light coverage, and it feels nice on the skin. It's like nice and lightweight. I think sometimes it can look heavy if you put too much of it on. I really liked applying it with my hands. I felt when I applied it with my hands, it actually did a lot more for my skin than when I used a sponge or a brush. So if you are someone who likes to apply your foundation with your hands, this might be one to check out. Like, it's actually really beautiful, but I tend to like using brushes. Hands is my second favorite, and then sponge, because I always forget to dampen a sponge before I use before I use it, and it's just like a whole hassle. It's funny because I used to like only use a sponge, and like I've just like moved away from that part of my life. Like, I definitely think there are benefits to using a sponge, and I do think that some foundations just really benefit from that, but my hands really liked it the best. Like, I liked applying it with my hands the best. And when I think of like the other foundations I currently have in my repertoire, so I have the Reboot foundation, the Dewdrop foundation, the Surreal Skin foundation, and then I also have the Givenchy concealer, which I often, like when I choose to use that product, I wear it as a foundation as opposed to concealer. This just doesn't beat any of those out, and it would have to be really high performing for that to be a thing. I think the thing that it's closest to in my collection, it's sort of the Reboot, but this definitely is like a thicker texture, where the Reboot foundation kind of pretty watery, but I feel like the Reboot foundation does do some of the blurring things that this one doesn't. So it's just like, I feel like it's really, I think it's a nice foundation, but it's like a nice foundation for someone else. Like, I don't think that it's the worst foundation I've ever tried. It doesn't make my skin look bad. I just like it didn't do as much for my skin as the other foundations that I choose to keep. So this is something else that Andromeda sent me that I'm going to pass on. They actually sent me 2 shades of this. This is the Huda Beauty Fill Filter Luminous Matte Foundation. I wore it in the last video that I posted. So when you're seeing this, it wouldn't have been my last video, but it's the video where I talked about how my project with my palettes went. And I do think it looked okay on camera. I don't like it in person. It's full coverage. It's full coverage, which is like not my gig. And it's matte. It's like definitely matte, like decidedly matte. I know it says like a luminous matte. The second I put it on my skin, I could tell I wasn't gonna like the way it looked. Because when I put it on, what happened was it didn't really want to spread it out. And so I think it would have been better with a sponge. I was using a brush, my preferred method, but I don't like the coverage of it. And I don't like that powder matte finish. Like a demi matte's fine. Like something that looks like skin is fine by me, like a matte, like a little bit of a matte finish. This was too matte for me. It was too much coverage. I felt like I was shellacking makeup on. It just like really wasn't for me. So I'm gonna find a new home for this. I don't even know that I know anyone who wears makeup like that's this serious anymore. And when I say serious, just like just much coverage, I just don't know people who do their makeup like this anymore. Not that if you are watching this video and this is like you love this foundation, great. And I will tell you this, whenever I wore it, I made a big effort not to apply too much of it to my face. So like I pumped out 1 pump. I didn't even use the whole pump, and it was still so much coverage and so matte. And I did like my regular prep for it, like, you know, and it just didn't look good on my skin. I just don't think that this is designed for people my age, designed for people with like my skin. Like, well, it certainly, I feel like, you know, made my pores look better on camera. I just think it looked so bad in person, and that's why I'm gonna pass on it. Here's another thing I'm passing on. These are from Andromeda as well, but these are something that they sent me a while ago. These are the About Face Cheek Freak blush balms, and I do eventually want to do like an in-depth review on About Face, but I'm not using these. Like I never reach for these. I have used them a handful of times. The thing is, the packaging of them, and I think these shades, well, I do love an orange blush. Since I've got them, I've been wearing a lot of cool tones recently, and I think whenever I do my About Face review, I need to be very selective about what I'm choosing. And so if I hold on to these and I do review, I will definitely have to do something warm toned for it all to make sense. And considering that's just like not where I am now, and who knows, whenever I decide to review About Face, maybe I'll actually choose one of these colors again. But I don't want them to just be sitting in my testing drawer, going unused, going overlooked. They're fine. They don't like resonate with me and like much more than that. They were great. They worked on top of powders. They were, you know, they worked obviously on top of liquids, you know, they like before powdering, after powdering. I found that they weren't very fussy. I also just found that they weren't very special. They were just like kind of very straightforward. And I was like, I would like you to do a little bit more than that. But like, I think they're a quality product. And I think that if you were looking at these and you were maybe interested in them and all the things I said about them, you just want it to be a blush that blushes, then this is it. You know, like, I think these are really good. I don't really like this packaging. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, I find it easy to open. Like, none of that is the problem, where it's just like, I just don't like the way they look. But I also like that they are the color of the blush inside of them. So if you have multiples, you can look at them from the top and know which one is which I think is really great. That's really well thought out. I think the team at About Face was really thinking about it. And it's really expensive to have each different blush have its own colored component, which is why a lot of things that you see from brands is like there's a sticker on the outside of the box, there's a sticker on the product that tells you what shade it is instead of it being, you know, different. So I can definitely commend them for that. But I'm not using them, and I just think they need to like find someone. I need to find someone for these that's going to like adore them. The, what is this called? The Red Camellia Skin Enhancer in Soft Pink from Chanel. I'm keeping it. I like it. I don't think it's better than the Auric Glow Lust, and it's much more expensive than the Auric Glow Lust, but the Auric Glow Lust doesn't come in this like pink. It's like, I have Morganite, which is the lightest shade, and it is definitely like champagne, like neutral champagne, and I think that that's kind of like par for the course in all of the Auric stuff, so it's definitely different than the Auric Glow Lust in the fact that it does leave a little bit of like pink, and whenever I'm doing like cool tone looks, you know, like this would come in handy. But like just like the Gucci bronzer, since I've gotten this is what I've been using as a primer. I haven't tried it on top of foundation yet, but I like it. And considering I'm about to use up, I should have used it today, but considering I'm about to use up the one from Victoria Beckham, I'm like happy to hold on to this until that one's gone, but I probably will resist using it until that one's gone because I do have quite a few primers, but I enjoy interacting with it. I don't think that this being a Chanel product is the reason why I like am keeping it either, because like that definitely could be something, right? You know, you may have noticed that a lot of like the mid-range stuff I try is leaving, and I do tend to like lean into luxury, but there's not anything particularly luxurious about this. Like, it is in a glass bottle and it definitely says Chanel on it, but like I just like the goop inside. And would I pay $60 for the goop inside? Probably not. Whereas I would definitely buy the bronzer from Gucci, which is another thing I'm keeping. You know, I like this enough where I'm just like, ooh, that goop? Love that goop. You know, I mean, that's what we're doing. Do you love that dirt? Do you love that goop? I like this goop quite a bit. So I'm just keeping it. The Glossier Stretch Concealer. I have really enjoyed getting to know this again, and I have really enjoyed my time with it. It's just not the right shade for me. I would definitely need to go, I feel like I need to go up like to light one or maybe one of like the fairer shades, and I really like it. It's not something that I would go out and rebuy right now because I already have a bunch of concealers. I have the Givenchy, I have all of the Ciroc concealers right now, and I really love them. If I bought this and I put that in there with the rest of those concealers, I would choose those over this every time, but I have really enjoyed testing this again. The last time I tried this concealer, I was into like full beats. I would have loved that Huda foundation whenever but like I'm really into this, and I could definitely see a world where like this is something I come to after I finish one of my concealers, but like we all know that I'm so slow going with conceal, like stuff like this. By the time I'm done with one of my concealers, I'll want to try something that's newer than this, but I really like it. If the right shade came my way and I put it on and it felt like excellent, there would be a world where like I could see myself choosing it, but right now, also in a world where I wear my makeup more, like potentially down the road, if like being a content creator is something I can sustain full time, I'll probably wear makeup every day since I don't have to start work at 6 a.m., you know? And I would like to wear makeup every day. It just like doesn't fit into like how my life is right now. So anyway, if there was ever a world where I would need a fourth concealer, this could be a good fourth concealer. I like these Pat McGrath glosses, but oh, they give me the white rings so fast. Andromeda also sent me the Makeup Forever HD Skin. Now, I actually have a review of this on my channel, and it's been a while since I used it, and I haven't used it since Andromeda sent it to me. It's in the shade 2M01. I don't remember what shade I tried when I tried this. I can't remember if it was a good match for me or not, so I'd like to try it again. I'd like to try it again because I feel like I feel like a lot of people gave this a really bad review, and I gave it a pretty good review. So I would like to try it again. So I'm gonna keep it, but like, I don't think it's gonna end up wowing me enough to like knock one of my other foundations out. But like, I was like, I just want to try it again. Like, I just haven't tried it in so long. Ah, these are two easy keeps. I have Evaporate and Exothermic from Phytosurgeons. Now, I already decluttered Sublimate because I put it on a video. I just like didn't love the way it looked. That is Evaporate. And I also have Exothermic. I love Phytosurgeons blushes. Like, their Skin Spark blushes are very good. My favorite cream blush formula, like bar done, like the Phytosurgeons blushes. I love these shades. I'm just clapping. Like, I love these shades. I really do. Like, I think they're so pretty, and they just like fall in line with like how I've been liking to do my makeup recently. Like, they're like beiges with in them, you know, like the like a little bit of spice, you know, and I just really like them. And I just, you know I like the Phytosurgeons. It was more or less getting through all the shades and deciding whether or not I wanted to keep them. I don't know where my other one is, and I don't remember the name of the one that I'm thinking about. I have definitely already kept some of the Fighting Ferdinand and Kackie blushes from the Summer Abroad collection. So we have macchiato here and aperitif here, and these are both the like deepest, most intense version of the colors. And then I also have the medium level pigmentation somewhere. What I will reiterate is that I actually really enjoyed using all these blushes, and I still really, obviously Kakkie's like one of my besties like at this point, like, so I hope you don't think anything of it. I don't think she'll be offended. I just don't need 6 blushes, and I will get rid of that other one if I can find it, the medium one. So the thing is, I think that when I look at macchiato, it actually kind of gives me the same vibes as evaporate. They're not exactly the same, but I feel like this one's a little more red, the one from Finding Ferdinand, and this one stays a little more, you know, down the center, maybe a little more beige looking. And I just prefer that to that. And if I'm going to keep one of them, I should keep the one I prefer. But I really like the Finding Ferdinand formula. And it's like, it's an interesting formula to play around with. I already know who I'm sending these to because they missed out on the collection the first time. And so I'm happy to provide that person with these, and I'm excited for them to get their hands on it. I literally don't know what happened to the other one. I don't know if I like pulled it out once and I didn't put it away. It's getting crazy over here, but I'm going to pass on those. But I still have, I have Olay Latte, and I have the lightest coral. Where is the other one? The world will never know. We may never know. Here's something that I got from Andromeda, and it's from Janessa Myricks. It's the Yummy Skin Blush in Dancing Queen. So that's definitely a berry. And I know I just decluttered a berry blush, but I have yet to put this on my face. I want to try the formula. I don't think I'm going to keep it based on the color, but maybe I'll, you know, who knows, maybe I'll put it on my skin and I will be like, whoop, you know, like really excited about it. I don't know. I won't know until I put it on my skin. I'm just interested in this formula. Me and Janessa Myricks products, I really want to love a Janessa Myricks product. And I do actually think I would really love that new Groundwork palette. My God, I think I would love to try, like I want it. Like, it's weird because, like, in my stomach, I'm like, do I want that? It's so interesting because I also bought another new eyeshadow palette, which is, like, what I have on my eyes today. It's, like, a new eyeshadow palette on my eyes. It's the first time I've worn it. But, like, Janessa Myricks products often, it's, like, the way, I definitely can see her vision for how she does makeup. It's just the way that I do my makeup and the way that she does makeup are very different, and they don't tend to align. So I'm curious about this, and I've also just been curious about this balm formula. I know that this isn't the setting powder thing, but I know it's, like, part of that line. So I'm interested to just try it. Like, I'm just interested to put it on. Here's the thing I'm gonna get rid of, having not even tried it. These Kaja Bentos. This is the Kaja Bento in Hella Azalea. First of all, the color, you know, it is what it is, but like, so there's 2 mattes in here. There's just something about this format that I find unappealing. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of don't, I think the problem is I can't see all of the shades at once. And that sounds so strange, but I know what those shades look like. Well, I know even if I put this on my eyeballs, it's not gonna be something I keep because I already know I don't like the sparkles from Kaja. I think they're okay, but they're not as good as like what I'm looking for, not as impactful as for what I'm looking for. So for that reason, it's just like, why would I keep this around? For what reason? For whomst? You know, and I'm not gonna wear it. Like, I haven't wanted to wear it, and I've had it for some time, and it hasn't sparked the interest in for me to try it. So I'm just gonna pass it on to someone who hopefully would like it and wants to try it. I thought I already moved this into my regular drawer, but I guess I haven't. This is from Oma. This is the She Tore lipstick. And this is actually really sheer. I'm just gonna swatch. I'm not swatching everything, but I'm gonna swatch it. It's like this sheer brown. And there's definitely like sparkles on the outside, but I feel like when I put it on my lips, I just get that balmy look. It doesn't feel very sparkly on my lips, which is fine. I mean, I like a sparkly lipstick. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's okay by me. I don't know. It's so funny because I feel like people call Merit's 1990 a cool brown. I feel like that's a cool toned brown. And on my lips, I feel like that looks more cool toned than the one from Merit. And I still love my Merit 1990. I just feel like it's a neutral brown. I don't think it's a cool toned brown. And a lot of people, I've heard other people compare it to A Royal Scandal by Gucci, which I don't even think that Merit's 1990 and A Royal Scandal from Gucci are like close. And I don't think that they are, you know, like I wouldn't use them for comparison's sake. My nipple just popped out. I mean, you can't see it, but I was like, what's that breeze? That's my nipple. I really like this formula and I really like this color and I don't have anything quite like it. So I'm gonna keep that one. I still have all of my samples from Ritual Defeat. I'm still working my way through them. I'm just keeping them in my testing drawer. I got this Lime Crime product. I don't know if I've ever tried a Lime Crime product. It's a lipstick from Lime Crime, and this is the shade Twin Flame, and Andromeda sent this to me. That looks like something I'll really enjoy. I haven't tried it yet. It's interesting, their packaging is cardboard, like it's a cardboard component. It's like, you know, kind of fun, but then this isn't. And is this recyclable? I guess I don't understand I guess my thought is, if you're gonna do paper packaging, and I don't know anything about Lime Crime, because, you know, when I first got into makeup, people were like, don't buy Lime Crime, and it just kind of like lived in my head rent free. I know they've gone through some changes too. I don't think that Doe still benefits from the company, Doe Deer. So I would like to try it. You know, at least for Halloween. So the next thing I have is the Merit Maraschino, the shade Slick Gelée. That's how I feel about it. It's like perfectly fine. I liked it better than the brown one I tried because I feel like this worked better on my lips. It wasn't really red enough to do anything to my lips. I've heard other people say that these are like pH adjusting. I don't even feel like it did that. Even if it did, it was just like barely. And it's just like not something I could see myself choosing to reach for over anything. I was using it as a lip balm first, and then I got the Make Beauty Serum Balm, and I was like, oh, I don't even need this anymore. I'm gonna ask Tiffany if they want it. If they don't, I guess I'll keep it, but I'm gonna ask Tiffany if they would like to take it over. The reason I'm not gonna offer it to anyone else, well, I mean, obviously, you know, passing on like a doe foot applicator liquid lipstick situation is like questionable at best, but like, there's mono in this house, and I don't want to pass it on to someone who would be even like willing to take it from me to get mono in case I have mono. Now, I haven't gotten tested for mono, but like you know, let's not tempt fate, you know. So for that, I'm just gonna pass it on. Hopefully by the time you see this video, my review on that is already up, but it's still in my testing drawer as of now. I'm just gonna leave it there. I still haven't used this, but I would like to use this. This is a single shade that Danny sent me from Klepatch.pro. I don't know. I don't know. I think that this is also in Russian, but I think the shade's really pretty and it looks unique from the outside. So I'd like to put it on my eye to see how it is. I just haven't thought about it yet. I already moved Nashi Pear into my collection because I really like it. And then I just used Peach Punisher, and again, the mono thing, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it because I do like that formula quite a bit. I just used it in the video that I filmed yesterday. I always think that whenever I look at it, that it's gonna be much more peachy than it actually is. Like, I find it very wearable. I always think it's gonna be like this really bright punch of color, and that's not what it is at all. And I was like, oh, I actually really like it. That's one of my favorite lip formulas, by the way. These About Face lip butters, lip cherry, whatever. It's so excellent. I want them to extend the shade range. I don't like the shade range, but I really like the formula. And I do like these two colors, but I really wish I could find like a dream color in that, and I would like buy that right away, and like it would probably be the only lip color I would use because I just really like that formula. This Oma blush in Fair Lady, I still feel like I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if it's something that I would keep either, but I still feel like I haven't used it enough times to really say. So I would like to keep it in the testing drawer. The Lunar Beauty Mars highlighter. So since I got this, I've used it like with every look I've done, and I really had to force myself to not use it today. And it just really impressed me. I really like it. I like the compact. I think that she's gonna be like a little star in my highlighter collection. And I think, you know, again, I'm thinking about the declutter at the end of my year. There's definitely some stuff that's going to be either retired because it's old, or stuff that I'm going to pass on that I'm not using as much. And I don't think that this is something that I would pass on. Like, I really like this. I'm glad I got to try it because I don't think I would have ever bought from Lunar Beauty. Like, Lunar Beauty, like, there's a lot of eyeshadows and like lip products, and I've heard good things about these highlighters, but I don't know that I would have ever pulled the trigger. Although I don't know how often these get restocked, or if they restock these at all. What a shame. They were really on to something here. I would love to see more highlighters in this formula. It's really good. Here's something I'm actually kind of excited to continue testing. I don't know if this is something that I would ever keep, but I am kind of amused and bemused by it. So this is a powder foundation from Chantecaille. This is their compact makeup. That's what it's called. And it's in the shade Bamboo, which also doesn't look like it would match me, but my neck is a little more yellow. And it's not like obviously exactly that color when it goes on, when it blends into the skin. The one time I used it, I went out in the rain and it wasn't ideal. And I don't think that it's this fault. I think any makeup I would would have worn that day would have been like put through the ringer, but it was just like the first time I wore it. I was really just expecting to not like it at all. And then I was like, am I Kelly Gooch now? Like I was like putting it on. So I definitely want to keep testing it. Like I want to see if it's something that like I start organically reaching for. Like my testing drawer has been so full for like so long. I just feel like every time I open it, it's like it's like there are bunnies in there and all the makeup just keeps multiplying, which is like not a bad thing to have, right? I'm very grateful for the PR, the ability to buy things, and my friends who also have excess makeup who are like passing it on to be like, will this find its home with you? For that, it's just like, I feel very lucky, but also it's just like, it's a little overwhelming when you have a lot of things in your testing drawer, especially when you're like testing those things to like talk to people about, because it's like, there's a pressure to use them before using like what you want to use, especially like with eyeshadows and stuff like this, which is on my eyes today. Like, there's a pressure in me to just continue to wear this until I put up a review to let you know how I feel about it. And, you know, like whenever there's a lot of stuff in the testing drawer, it's like, I gotta talk about that, I gotta talk about that. Which is why I like to like kind of do my reviews sometimes within those Let's Play with makeups, especially on things that aren't brand new. Like I will likely do a dedicated review video on this palette, but for me to do a dedicated review on the Lunar Beauty, this doesn't make sense for me to do. Like this is old news, right? And like the people who know me who might want to know about it, they'll find it in those videos if they're watching all my videos. Like this, that's like to bring new people in, right? I haven't tried this yet, but Andromeda sent me this from Viseart. It's one of their bronzers. This is the shade Bronze Noir, and they said it was probably going to be too warm for them. I mean, I need another bronzer like a hole in my head, but I'll try it. Kackie sent me this, which in the grand scheme of things, it was like not the most exciting thing that Kackie sent me. It's a Laura Mercier caviar stick, and this is in the shade Brick. Now, it is loose. It is like, you know, it will fall out, so I have to remember to open it right side up. I like this shade. It's this really, it's the shade Brick, but it's like this really burnt red brown. I wouldn't say that that's like brick at all. Like brick, I think of just like red, like a brick red. And this is definitely more brown than it is red, but I used it the other day and it was so easy to use. And I feel like I might be in a cream eyeshadow era, or like it's something I would like to dip my toe into. You know what? As I'm looking at my face doesn't get this oily this fast, and I think it is due to this Laura Mercier powder, so I'm just gonna pass that along, and I'm gonna repowder my face with something better. I think I've mentioned this before, but I don't normally touch up like this, but like I just applied this makeup before filming this video, and I'm also intending on filming other videos today, and so if we're already like busting out the oil, that powder's not good for me. I just touched up with the Charlotte Tilbury powder. We're looking good. So this is from Unearthly. Now, I haven't put this on my lips. I did swatch it on my hand, but I did not put it on my lips. So I think this would be safe to pass on to another person. I definitely haven't put this on my lips. I have the other shade and I didn't really love the formula. I decided to keep that other one because I already tried it and I really like the shade. This is, like I said, this is the shade Aura from Unearthly. I really have no intention of using this now that I know that I don't really care for the formula. Even in the brief, you know, time I tried the other shade, there's no sense of me putting this on my lips to see it, especially like, again, with the consideration of potential mono. Like, I just don't think that I should put this on my lips if I have no intention of continuing to wear it. There's only a couple things left. This one I haven't tried yet, but I do want to try. This is the matte painted lip color from About Face. This was sent to me by Andromeda. It's really dark in here, and you think it's going to be this really vampy color, but it's actually just like a blue-red. Like, it's so bright and vibrant, but in the container, it's like, that's not what the shade looks like, because I was excited to like try a vampy color, but I also haven't had a blue red. The only red I have in my collection right now is the Hourglass True Red, which is like a straight down the middle kind of red. I used to enjoy wearing Ruby Woo back when I first got into makeup, so I would like to try it again to see, just to have that feeling. And it's just like, I don't already have one in my collection, and I just want to try it. I just want to try it, because I've been like much more into neutral eyes recently, and I think a red lipstick could really bring that out, and I don't know, I'll try it. This is from Odin's Eye. It's the single Chloe, and I really liked it when I used it, and I had no issues with it. I know Odin's Eye is kind of like in hot water right now, and I probably like wouldn't buy from Odin's Eye now, and that's not to tell you what to do with your money, or like I have no moral judgment if you continue to buy from Odin's Eye. That's, you know, it's whatever. But I really like this, and I'm gonna keep it. I also had two shades sent to me by Ananda from Terra Moons. I really liked them. I'm gonna keep them. So if you ever see something on my eye and it's not labeled and you ask and then I don't answer, it's likely from a brand I don't support anymore. So I just like try really hard not to like talk about them. But also there's makeup in my collection that I would like to use. I feel very similarly to about brands that I'm not currently supporting or buying from, but I have in my collection. I feel similarly to that about like discontinued makeup where it's like, I'm gonna keep wearing it even though like you might want it. Like, you know, just like someone who's watching might want it, but like that's up to you, right? Like your choice to buy from any brand is up to you. And I'm not here to talk about all the drama with all those brands. I think a Google search will do for you to figure that out. Also, Beauty Guru Chatter, if you want to look up over there, I'm sure they've discussed it, you know, but I'm not doing that here. That's not what my channel's about, which is why I often, when I'm not talking about brands, I just don't talk about them. I don't talk about what's wrong with them, but I also don't highlight them when they do good things either, like ColourPop. I don't talk about ColourPop in Critical Sass because it's not a brand that I'm interested in talking about at all. So anyway, if you ever pretty much see me actively avoiding talking about a brand, that's why it's just a brand I'm not supporting, and it doesn't matter why. We're not gonna get into it. Anyway, this is the Don't Be Jelly palette from Unearthly. I really haven't gotten into this too much. I don't know that it's something that I would ever keep. Like, I look at this, I've used a couple of the shimmers. I wasn't like 100% wowed by them. I gotta be honest. I thought they were okay. They were okay. When I'm choosing to go to an indie brand, I'm looking for something unique and specific about them when I'm trying them. Again, I haven't used the mattes in years, but the shimmers are like, they're not better than Cliona. I feel like those shimmers are maybe on par with this Charlotte Tilbury thing, which you can buy in stores, and there's other brands that you can buy at Sephora that you have easier access to. I just don't find that these shimmers have been like too unique that you can't find them anywhere else, or so special that I feel like one needs to try them or have them in their life. But again, I can't really say that with my full chest because I haven't used it that much. The Rose Ink blush in Heliotrope, I really liked it. I really liked it. I still feel as though I haven't used it enough to like really decide to keep it or not. But if you asked me today, I would be like, yeah, I'd keep that because I just feel like I don't have other blushes like it. So I might need to bust out in my personal time, bust out other blushes and like see what I have close to it. But I really liked it. I think it's a really beautiful blush. I think the formula is really nice. I've tried it only that one time in that one video, and I felt like my skin just looked so wet and I couldn't figure out what the finish of this was. So I'm excited to try it on a face of makeup I feel more confident in. This Low Light from Unearthly, I haven't put this on yet, so I'm gonna just keep it in the testing drawer. That feels fair. And then the last thing I have to reckon with is the Rare Beauty highlighter. And this is actually a situation where I'm going to pull something out of my collection and declutter it now instead of waiting till the end of the year. I'm kind of doing a one in and one out with the Rare Beauty highlighter. So this is the Rare Beauty highlighter in Enlighten. And my first couple times with it, I find that this is fussy, right? And I find this is fussy for a number of reasons. I am lucky enough to have gotten this completely unbroken. I don't know how Ananda did it. I don't know how she sent it to me without breaking, like without it breaking. I don't know how she got it without it being broken, but like there's a lot of quality control issues with this highlighter, which makes me, as someone who knows that about it and reviews makeup, and you might buy something on my recommendation, makes me hesitate a little bit because it's like, who wants to deal with broken makeup? If you are interested in this and you have access to a Sephora, if you were going to buy it, but my advice is to you is to go to Sephora, tell the sales associate you're worried that it's going to be broken, tell them, have them open it for you and show you whether or not it's broken before you buy it, that kind of thing. I think this is a really nice highlighter. I do think it takes some getting used to the pigmentation of it because I feel like they just don't, we don't have highlighters like this anymore. And if you really like a really bold highlight, like on the cheek, I think you'll really like this. But I also think it's, if you can diffuse it enough, it's beautifully subtle. Like I said in my other video, this Sonia G soft cheek brush really changed my view on a lot of highlighters that I used to feel like were quote unquote too much. Using these two together, it's really, really, really beautiful. But I also find it's really easy to overdo it, but I am keeping it. And I'm keeping it because it reminds me of something that I really like, but I think it's time to part ways with, and I think it's just time to retire it. It's the Tarte Skin Twinkle Volume 2. There's kind of like a twofold reason. It's big in my collection. I only can get away with using those two shades. I could lie to you and say I could use these ones as an eyeshadow. I'm not gonna do that. There are some of you who probably will. There are some of you who might like look at that and be like, I will use that as an eyeshadow. These are my favorite highlighters. They remind me a lot of this Rare Beauty one. There's like dips in these two shades, not like close enough to get to pan, but I've also had this for like since 2017. And it's not something I would travel with. It's not something that I would take out of my collection. It's not something that I am choosing for. And that's either because it's old, and I think that way, where I'm like, that's old. Not that it's not performing well, but it's also just like, it takes up a lot of space in my drawer. I don't really like face palettes, and this is the last face palette that I have. This one right here. And I overlook it for my individual ones all the time. And I think that this one looks a lot like when I mix these two together, and it's just like, why not just keep the one that can do it for me? And like, this has been long discontinued, and I really appreciate it. And I wouldn't pass this on to someone since it's like from 2017 and it's 2023, so it's 6 years old. I would have no problem continuing using this, to be quite honest with you. I think I like the Rare Beauty one just like a little bit better, and I think that's okay. I really appreciate this for its time. I've loved it a lot over the years, but I think it's time has come for me to part ways with it. I just pulled it out of my blush drawer. My blush drawer looks like so much more organized now that that's not in there. And then I also have this. I don't know what I don't know. So I finished a Merit complexion stick not that long ago. Kackie tried it again not that long ago and did not like it. And she was like, I'll send you mine. And now that I had finished the Merit stick, which I really like, I like this, I already have other formulas, and I technically have spot for it because I try to keep my foundations down to 4. But I kind of consider the Givenchy to be more of a foundation than a concealer. And then it's like, is that my 4th foundation? Anyway, I need to figure that out. That's my personal views on my collection. I don't know that I want to keep this. Like, I don't know that I want to keep this because I think that I'll be more excited to explore other foundations. And this is still very new. I think I can find another home for this, and hopefully that person will like it. If I pass it on to someone and they don't and they want to give it back, I'll finish. Like, I can finish this, you know. I've already finished it once. I can finish it again. Because I know a lot of people are really iffy on this and don't really love it. But anyway, I think I'm just going to actually pay this one forward as well. Staying in the testing drawer, or kind of recently introduced, we have the lipstick, this foundation, this e.l.f. thing, this lipstick, the Rose Ink blush, the Danessa Myricks blush, the Chantecaille powder foundation, and the Oma blush. Joining my collection is the Rare Beauty highlighter, the Lunar Beauty highlighter, 2 new highlighters, the Gucci bronzer, the Chanel Red Camellia enhancer, the Oma lipstick, 2 Phytosurgeons blushes, and the Odin's Eye single. And then I'm getting rid of a bunch of stuff. Okay. I've been filming this for much longer than anticipated. I'm ready to go because I have to film another video. Not immediately after this. I'm going to take a little bit of a breather. Not that you're worried about me, but you'll have already seen the video that I'm filming after this. It's going to be the critical sass this week. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I mean, it's nice going through, giving you mini reviews of some things, telling you why I'm keeping them, telling you why I'm passing it, tell you why I'm still undecided on them. So I would love to have you subscribe if you're not already. Make sure you like this video before you leave it. That really helps me. I'm on Patreon if you would like to support me there. Again, there's no pressure to. It's just an option. And that's that. Remember to follow your hoe and you will find me. I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye-bye. Friend, 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 friend.